again, just to thank everyone for giving up their time. I know it's towards the end of the day. It is the end of the day for us, the end of the working day. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I believe we've got Nicholas up first to share the benefits of the course with us. Nicholas?
Okay, so when I was asked to do a speech on the benefits of speech, the only thing I found difficult was being able to say everything I actually wanted to say in such a time. But the first word that came to mind when thinking about speech is the fact that it's different. It's not like any other subject you'll ever do. It's unique. And if I was to be paid, I could very easily argue it's the most beneficial. At first, I only chose it as something to put in my personal statement. I really didn't think of it as much, but the ways that things have turned out, it's the one thing I enjoyed the most about being in sixth form. From the friendships I've made by working in groups, everyone's newspaper discussion, to the confidence I drastically developed. The idea from being a source of anxiety and fear to something that constantly excites me. Even during the final assessment, I remember right before going to do my first presentation, I did a little anime warm-up. I went straight into it. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like before where I had this sharp pain in my chest and this miniature panic attack when I was asked to speak. It was now something I relished in. It wasn't just my speaking that has improved. Speech benefited me in many different ways. For one, my writing skills. I can write and write for as long as I want. My essays in different subjects now are far more in depth. They are detailed, and I am far more critical of the things I read. And while on the topic of reading, I enjoy it now. I used to see reading a book as a punishment. I hated it to the point where the only book I read properly before sixth form was in year 6, and if I'm correct, it was the fantastic Mr. Fox. And now it's basically a hobby of mine. Although, I do admit I could do it more often than I do. I could go on and on about the benefits of speech, but I feel like the best way to end it is by saying thank you to Ms. Kira, who during the most difficult time of her life, being COVID, made speech as enjoyable as possible and ensured we all did well, which we all did. That's all I have to say at the moment. Thank you.
And that leads us into Ridian. We really did enjoy your questioning and listening to your experiences after each of the newspaper discussions and each of the pieces. So I think this is more for myself than it was for the students. What were your best bits?
Oh, when I was invited to today, I looked back over the notes trying to pick out what I would talk about as my favourite parts. And I ended up with about 6 pages of A4, very tightly scrawled notes, because it's really, really hard to pick out individual parts that were so much better than anything else. But what impressed me the most was the engagement in issues that affect you in your lives, but also your families, the places your families originated from. It was particularly for me in the experiences I've had, as Ms. Kira said, Punjab is a place that's very close to my heart. I've spent a lot of time in Chandigarh, but also in amongst the wheat farmers of Punjab. So that poem really resonates for me. And it was hearing young people growing up in Smethwick, Oldbury, Sandwell, talking about those kinds of issues with passion, being informed, being willing to explore other sides to it as well. That's really gratifying. It gives me a lot of hope. And coming from a school where my mum taught 60 years ago, which is quite incredible in itself. I think some of the teachers there may have been her pupils at one stage, because that often happens. But to see that, and to see that vibrancy, that willingness to engage with sometimes quite difficult topics and to do it so maturely, I thought was incredible. But I'd also like to pick up on what Nick said in his speech, because the thing that impressed me most about the whole day was how supportive you all were of each other, how much you all wanted each other to do well. And so you participated and engaged to your fullest so that the person actually being assessed could shine. And that was really impressive. And when Nick picked up on that and said, one of the best things about this was the friendships you made, I thought, yeah, that's something we rarely think about when we think about communication. We talk about sharing ideas as Tina did, but we're sharing ourselves. We're opening ourselves up. And that's a really, really important thing, especially now when we've all been shut away for so long. And the last thing I think that's really impressive was, I know, because I've done a lot of these assessments, but also because I still feel nervous when I'm asked to speak. I know how hard it can be if language isn't something you feel comfortable with. I was different as a child. I went to theatre school and, I was pushing my way to the front of the stage, spotlight on me, please. And that wore off very, very quickly, but I still had that willingness to get up and do it. But I know that's not the same for everybody. And I think one of the most important things that our courses do, but also particularly the effort that you've put into our courses, is the confidence it builds in having a voice, being willing to use that voice, but also confidence in your own ideas. Nick mentioned critical thinking, that his writing is now better. He reads more. All of these things matter. It's kind of odd because at ESB, we separate our two divisions and we call one speech and one language. But speech is language. And it's wonderful to see how that feeds into other areas like writing. Thinking about structure in an essay is the same as how I structure the presentation for ESB. Have I got an interesting introduction, a snappy conclusion? Is there evidence to support my argument? That's going to carry you through college, university, and it's really going to help you decide how to plan your life, because you will be able to put forward what you want. I think that's amazing. You all showed me that. And I'll be honest, when you look at areas like Sandwell and you see the statistics of GCSE results and things like that, you don't often come into an assessment expecting top level performances, particularly the first year. ESB exams at level 3 are not easy. They're not meant to be easy. But you all did far better than I had expected, honestly. Now, that might have been Miss Kira being quite strategic and underplaying my expectations a little. I think, she's got a coy smile there. But you all, on the day, performed absolutely brilliantly. You really did. You shone. I talked to my mum about it. She's in her 80s now. She still occasionally works part-time as a teacher. And she was so happy to hear that kids from Holly Lodge were thriving and shining and doing well. So from my mum and from me, thank you. Thank you for an amazing day. I'm sorry I didn't get to come to the school, but hopefully in the future that will be possible. You might not be there, but your successors will, because you're going to leave a legacy now. You're going to leave a legacy of speech, communication, that students at Holly Lodge have great ideas and know how to share them. Well done, everybody.
Thank you, Ridian. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to hand over now to Ibrahim. This is the final student we're going to hear from. And Ibrahim is going to share with us his journey through speech. Ibrahim, over to you.
I'll be honest with you, Miss. I'm under a lot of pressure here because I've had everyone just talk about all they've done. I guess because I'm freehanding this, because I'm absolutely smart for doing that. I think my journey didn't really start with speech, mainly because obviously I stutter, and I'm not exactly the best when it comes to public speaking. So when it came to doing this, I was, you could say, anxious in a way, because I didn't really think, especially with me coming out with the distinction, which thank you again, Ridian, for that. I am, I I was sort of on the fence about me doing something like this, mainly because I'm not a public speaker or at the same time really good with words. But I found as soon as I had a passion for something I wanted to speak about, it actually helped me motivated me, sorry, to do well. And especially with things like the article discussion, I found myself immersed with the people. And I do have to give a big thanks to Lovepreet and Nicholas for making that possible, because without them, I don't think it would have been the same experience. I think as well with this, it does come down to your mindset on this, because I think on the day I realized I might as well give it my all, otherwise, nothing good would ever come out of it. So I think with this journey, it has taught me one thing, which is, as long as if you're motivated and interested in what you want to do, then you'll always be able to come out with the best results. And sometimes I think that not just within this subject, but within a lot of those subjects, we have this sort of doubt that we can't do it, mainly because at the start it may seem, oh, we're struggling or we're stumbling, but I find that that's not the end result. The end result is whatever work we put into it. So for this, I think just because I've put in some effort into this, it showed in the end.
That's brilliant. Thank you very, very much, Ibrahim. Mrs. Dunn, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm speechless, really. Myself and Mrs. Rye. Wow, it's shocked me how emotional I feel. Very proud of you all. These are for you. I hope you can see that there. These are your legacy badges, each and every one of you. Absolutely superb. Thank you for taking us on your journey. The support that you've all given each other. I feel really emotional, you can tell. Tina, Ridian, amazing. Thank you very much.
You're incredibly welcome. We have privilege, just as you do, you have privilege every day, and so do we, because when we give this opportunity to young people and they have brilliant mentors and staff like Miss Kira, they fly. We only have to give them that little bit, and all the work that you've done throughout the school with these young people. I'm over the moon that you find it so emotional, because this is the best thing that we can ever have. And I'm just so incredibly thankful for the school for taking this on and for doing so fantastically well. So just congratulations, and how lovely that you wanted to celebrate in this way. It's my absolute privilege to be able to do anything like this. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Rye, I can see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I know I'm not part of the programme.
No, you're always part of the programme.
But with Mrs. Dunn, sixth form students, I have never seen Mrs. Dunn like this. You have really, really moved her. And I'm going to confess something. While we've been watching and listening, we've actually been text messaging each other, but about what's just been happening on this Teams meeting. And we've written things like a credit to themselves and us. Look how proud they are. And when Nicholas spoke and Lovepreet spoke and Ibrahim, you've spoken. And then also to Miss Kira, we wrote, the way she has facilitated this is fantastic. It is so professional and the students are so focused. And if you don't believe me, you can come and have a look later on, students. Honestly, that's how proud we are. And as Miss Dunn said, you've absolutely blown us away. So thank you, for blowing us away, because it's a really nice feeling.
Thank you very, very much. I'm bursting. I really am. I'm bursting with pride. I was on the day, and when the reports came through as well, I was refreshing that portal for a week, and I did Mrs. Dunn's head in. And finally on Friday, when they dropped through, it was great. But yeah, thank you very, very much, everybody. Thanks for giving up your time. Thank you for sharing as well.
You're absolutely welcome. Thanks for showing me your faces so I can actually see you and feel that we're really part of this experience. And to Ridian, thank you so much for being such a great assessor and for bringing such passion on the day. Let's hope that Miss Kira's forged the way, that your legacy is there, and these are going to be many young people who'll come behind you with fantastic achievements, and you're going to impact their lives as well through what you've done. So thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all
Thank you
so
all.
very much.